Imagine the surface of the Earth as one giant jigsaw puzzle. These puzzle pieces are what we call tectonic plates, and they are so enormous that sometimes they cover entire continents. These plates are constantly moving, but so slowly that we don't notice it at all. In fact, they only move 1 to 6 inches per year. Eventually, these plates get closer and closer until they finally smash into each other, creating earthquakes and pushing the ground to the sky. After millions of years of minuscule, unnoticeable incremental movements, mountains are formed. And when they get too heavy to get any higher, they simply become wider. But they never ever stop growing. In fact, 50 million years ago, two tectonic plates moved towards each other, closed up an entire ocean, and began to create what is now today's highest peak, Mount Everest. When you look at it today, it's hard to imagine that there was once nothing there but water. But what is now considered a geological wonder was once just okay, and that's okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of You're Just Okay, and That's Okay. I'm your host, Chris Flojo, and I am so excited because today we're going to be chatting about your spending and saving habits. That's right, my friends, it's time to get financial. I know this might sound boring or intimidating for some, but I urge you to find a cozy spot, listen close, and get honest, because this is some real stuff. And I'm going to be the first one to confess to you. I was never good with money. Even as a single woman, I was not a big shopper, but holy cow, did I love to eat out. That was my therapy. Beautiful, delicious food. I also loved going out with my friends and, in doing so, spent every single centavo, living from paycheck to paycheck. That is, until I got married to one of the most financially savvy people I have ever met in my life. He knew what kind of mindset I had when it came to spending and budgeting. So, what did he do? He trusted me. He entrusted our monthly household budget to me and said, "This is what we have. Spend it the way you best believe we should." I am not exaggerating when I say that I cried. I was so scared of having such a big responsibility, and to have my husband's full trust made it even scarier. But this forced me to look at my bad habits straight in the face, get honest about what I needed to stop doing, and which good habits I needed to start doing. It's been 7 years, and while I'm still not amazing, I'm proud to say that I no longer cry at the thought of budgeting. And pretty proud of the fact that most of the time, I hit all the targets. Well, right, so some months are better than others, but for the most part, we've got a groove going. I know financial things aren't usually fun to talk about, but I was able to sit down with two people who have great insight about spending and saving, and hopefully will shed some light on questions you may be too afraid to ask out loud. When we come back, we're going to meet Chieri Nagase and Chot Guerrero. This isn't a tutorial for insurance policies or investment opportunities. My aim here today is to encourage everybody to take charge of their personal finances and feel in control of their money. Financial literacy isn't learned in one sitting and can only be truly understood in practice. Ideally, it's something we should learn at a young age, but it's not a normal part of our curriculum in schools or even at home. So we end up with a large number of adults who don't know how to make a basic budget or don't know who to ask and are too scared to begin. This is even more relevant now that we are in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. Our first guest can talk all about this from first-hand experience.
I'm Chi. I'm a full-time lawyer and also full-time financial advisor. Like a lot of Filipinos right now, I've been affected by this pandemic. Although I didn't get coronavirus, I felt the impact on losing my job, on having to reconstruct my budget and live within my means and only live based on what I need, not on what I want, like before the COVID hit.
I'm sorry, I did not know that you lost your job, Chi.
Yeah, I did. Well, one of my jobs. I'm a self-employed lawyer, so I take on clients myself. One of my regular paying clients had to stop my retainer because they're based in the US, and when the pandemic hit them, and they're an immigration firm, so they already knew that they weren't going to get clients as soon as the lockdown began, so they stopped employing me.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to restructure my budget basically. Yun yung talagang parang the bulk of my income came from that. So when that pulled out, I had to, well, like other Filipinos, ano din, naghanap din ako ng saan ba mag-focus na energy right now.
Thankfully, Chi has been able to prepare herself for an insane situation like this one. However, that didn't come naturally, and everything she knows now, she had to learn the hard way.
Late ako na-educate financially, and then I had to do it by myself. Parang my dad always had money. My mom naman parang always, I guess, I grew up sheltered kasi, so parang I didn't know na parang ito yung expenses, ganyan. So I just knew that parang hanggat pumapasok ako, meron akong baon. Tapos, matagal ako nag-aral, sis.
So, matagal ka may baon?
Matagal ako may baon. Nag-law school pa ako, diba?
Yeah.
So, parang...
Ilang years pa ang law school?
4 years, tapos mag-bar ka for 1 year. And then I failed the first bar. So, 2 years ako nag-bar.
In the whole time, you were being provided for. So, talagang pumapasok lang yung money.
Yeah. Oo, parang, I mean, nung second bar, wala na. Hindi na rin ako lumalabas ng bahay kasi parang may ka naman sa sarili mo. Pero, I had to go through that. Tapos, okay lang ako. Basta, pagtapos nito, I'll find a job and it's gonna be a high-paying job kasi I'm a lawyer, ganyan. Diba? Tapos, boom, hindi high-paying job maging lawyer. Surprise! No. I really felt it nung nag-pass away yung mom ko. Parang she was in the hospital for a month before she passed. Tapos wala siyang insurance. And I didn't know at that time. I wasn't thinking of insurance. Parang inisip ko lang, shit, saan kami kukuha ng money?
Right.
Parang sabi ko, shocks. Paano pag ako yung nagkasakit?
Right.
Diba? Parang, sino yung mamamroblema for me? Yun yung inisip ko.
The tragedy of losing her mom to cancer was what really pushed Chi to change her mindset about budgeting and saving. She talks about how she learned about insurance and why she feels it's extremely important for everyone to have this kind of personal security.
So I looked for a friend na advisor with a different company, and I'm like, takot na ako, sis, no? Third generation na ako, lolo ko cancer, mom ko cancer. So ako parang, hindi ako, like, kung gusto ko, hindi ako held back ng lack of funds to get the treatment that I need. So, then and there, yung friend ko, nag-financial workshop kami. Tapos, tingnan ko lahat ng expenses ko. So, doon ko naintindihan na, ganito pala mag-budget. Ganito pala yun. Wala naman akong pakinan, diba? Wala akong bills to pay, ganyan. Pero nung namatay yung mom ko, ayoko yun ever ma-feel ng kahit sinong loved one ko. Gusto mo mag-grieve, pero in the back of your mind, may elephant in the room. Diba?
Right.
Parang, sino magbabayad? Saan kukuha ng pera? So yun yung for me. Yun yung naging reason kung bakit sabi ko, shocks, parang a lot of people go into debt. A lot of people use up all their savings because of just one illness. Narealize ko, hindi tinuro sa school. Parang I don't ever remember being taught money management. And I think it's a cycle na parang it's experienced by a lot of Filipinos talaga throughout all the classes. People have this notion of mahal kasi mag-invest, mahal ang life insurance, it's not. It's affordable. It can be, you can look for a product that fits your budget. Parang people want the get rich quick scheme kasi. They don't understand na it's little amounts of money that when you retire, malaki na siya. The rich people naman, they didn't get there the next day.
Right.
They invested their money. Diba you always hear invest in business, invest in stocks. Parang, you can do that. As a regular citizen, you can invest in stocks. You can buy pieces of Meralco, of SM. You can do that. You just find a broker. Or you can open a mutual fund and just let the professionals handle it. You have professional fund managers. Tapos, sila na bahala. Kasi yun yung trabaho nila. Ikaw, just this is how you let your money work for you. I know that's been said a lot of times, and I'm sure you've heard it, diba? You have to let your money work for you. Because if not, you're gonna continue working for money. It has to be the other way around.
Okay, these are all big things already. Investments, stocks, and all of that can seem intimidating. So let's get personal. What can we do in smaller ways to manage our personal finances?
If you're a person who is single and not providing for anyone else, what would a basic budget look like for that person?
Before you make a budget kasi, you have to sit down and write everything that you spend on. If you can't remember, that means
Baka sobra, no?
you really need to do this exercise. Kuryente, utilities, tapos lahat groceries, ganon. Para lang you have an idea. Tapos, dapat meron kang parang mga 50% to ito yung entry-level cheat sheet. 50% to your needs, so that includes all your expenses. Tapos 20% to your savings, and then 30% to your wants. Diba, mas malaki pa yung wants dun sa savings. Okay, diba? Tapos maganda din yung exercise of you writing down all of your expenses kasi alam mo na kapag nagkulang ka somewhere, alam mo where to cut.
Right.
Yan, check your bills, check your credit card bills, check your kung naka-debit, check mo pa din. You're building the habit of saving. Kahit 20 pesos a month, 100 pesos a month, just commit it to yourself and then stick to it. Magugulat ka kahit 100 pesos in 10 months, 1,000 na yun. Diba? So parang, if you put it in the right avenue pa, with higher savings, hindi lang nakapark kunwari sa bank, you put it in mutual funds, mas mataas pa yung makukuha mong interest. That's the pinaka-basic of letting your money work for you.
Right.
Diba? Earning investment from parking your money. You can open a mutual fund online for 500 pesos. That's the opening of account. And always, you have to save with a goal. Para alam mo kung ano yung iniipon mo for. Hindi yung, basta lang may savings account lang ako. Parang, hindi. Emergency fund ba yan? Are you gonna travel with that fund? Hindi yung, okay, may 100,000 na ako. Ano kayong pwede gastusin? You know what? The secret pala talaga is when you get the pay raise or you get more money coming in, don't upgrade your lifestyle together with the amount of cash that you're bringing in. Parang keep simple.
The term that I learned recently that you were talking about is lifestyle creep. Yun na nga. Yeah, that's a term they use for. Yun na nga. You don't realize you're upgrading with each. Parang you're wondering, you're earning more, but how come parang hindi pa rin mataas yung savings? Kasi nga, pinapantayan mo yung with your spending. Lifestyle, the lifestyle creep. Mas mahal na yung mga grocery na binibili, yung kind of meat, yung shampoo. Girl, biktima ako niyan.
Diba? Lahat tayo na biktima nun na parang, wait lang, nag-pay raise na ako. Tapos, bakit parang same pa din yung worry ko about it. So, yung trick daw doon is to pretend you didn't get the pay raise and put it in investments instead.
Based on her experience, she really knows what it's like to be caught off guard when it comes to money, whether it be sickness or any other kind of emergency. This is why she and her partner Jem, who is also an award-winning financial advisor, started an Instagram page called Dipid to help people learn the basic good habits of spending and saving.
We started Tipid because we want to teach people the basics of financials. Yung parang we want to normalize talking about finances. Parang you don't have to tell everyone you meet kung magkano yung sweldo mo.
Right.
Pero kung saan makakatipid, kunwari, ganun, parang, imbes kung meron kang cash, bayaran mo ng credit card mo ng buo kasi makakasave ka sa interest. Parang ganun. Yung hindi tayo mahihiya maging open about how to be frugal, where to invest, how to grow your money. Kasi, parang, for us, exposed kami doon because we go to a lot of seminars, we read a lot of books, we go to a lot of training. Pero not everyone is given that chance.
So when people go on to Tipid on Instagram, what's the handle, the complete handle?
It's at Tipid_PH.
And then they can message you guys if they have questions, like if they're just questions about on the day-to-day things, they'll be able to do that.
Yes, they can. They can ask us about anything. They can request for a financial workshop or a talk. But we like personal coaching. There are two of us. We'll both jump into the call. Tapos, it's a no judgment, non-committal call. So we just want to help you talaga. Build your financial habits. Kasi, yun nga, we discovered it for ourselves and we want to share that knowledge to everyone who will listen.
Chi and Jem are extensively trained for managing finances, and it's amazing that they're sharing their knowledge and experience for free. This is a resource that we should be taking full advantage of. So the next time you're on Instagram, hop on over to Tipid_PH and ask them all the questions you want. Like they said, it's judgment-free. Even if you're not a fully trained financial advisor, you can still apply the things you learn in your life to how you manage your expenses. Use what interests you and use it to create your style of money management. Chot Guerrero, who hates math but loves economics, was able to apply this in managing his spending and saving.
Have you always been a finance guy, Chot?
Yung finance guy, okay, brief background. Back when I was in high school, or even in grade school, I really hated math and numbers. Okay, I used to get notification slips from my teachers. It's a red slip that you had to have your parents sign. Pag may notification slip ka, minimum mabagsak ka. Every quarter, I had to give my mom and dad a notification slip. So bumabagsak talaga ako.
Hard relate.
Yeah.
Super relate.
Oo.
Okay.
Kasi bumabagsak ako. Pero back in college, I learned about economics and it sparked my interest. It was at the back of my mind. Pero I started my career in, let's call it, finance. Siguro 2006 when I started trading other securities. It's not the lifestyle. It's not the Wolf of Wall Street lifestyle where money just flows. That's complete crap if it's not true. Maybe in New York, pero dito, meron din, pero for me, it's not the Wolf of Wall Street lifestyle.
What was your background though? I mean, what was your college course? Do you need to have a specific course to be able to work in that field?
My college course I studied in UANT was an entrepreneurial management. So it was a business course wherein you had to start your own business prior to graduation. So I started a digital consultancy, meaning created web pages basically.
Was it a successful business? You got clients and everything?
Yeah, I did. The goal was prior to graduation is you had to make about 15,000 pesos a month.
Oh.
So I was making that during that time.
Parang was that when you realized that you had an inkling for money or financial stuff or things? Was it an awakening in any way?
Yung financial path of my career, because handling money is very personal, diba? And yung career towards finance that's based on your interest. Back in college, I used to be the guy who would ask the last questions during economics class. my other classmates would tell me, na, last question ka pa. Counter-strike na tayo. Kasi dali, it was really interesting to me. After college, I was able to join a bank and apply my interest in economics. So I found my little path there.
How do you apply that to personal spending and saving?
It's related, but the approach is very different. To personal finance, my my mantra is to have positive cash flow. Okay, um, back meaning you have what is coming in is more than what's coming out. Okay, so what is coming out is your costs, your lifestyle costs, kuryente, tubig, internet, cellphone, sapatos, bra,
For sariling bracket yung sapatos.
meron, sorry. I mean,
It's your
personal,
money.
yeah, your personal gastos and your lifestyle, because your personal costs, what dictates it is your lifestyle.
You're married.
Yes.
Okay.
Happily.
Happily. Okay.
I have
Lakasan
to
mo
hide-
pa. Lakasan mo pa.
Happily.
Okay, no. How do you handle the savings between the two of you? Have you guys, I'm assuming you guys have investments, insurance. What do you guys have in form of investing on yourself or saving for your future?
I keep my own savings account. She keeps her own savings account. And I at least try to save 20 to 30% of my.
That's consistent every month.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned that the hard way because after college, ang gastos ko eh.
Really?
Yeah, gastos ko talaga. I wanted the latest and greatest Nikes. I want the latest and greatest cell phones. But as I progressed, sabi ko, if I continue my lifestyle, hindi ako maka-save and I will not be able to get married.
Oh, that was high on the list, ah?
Yeah. And you know how Karin used to give me jab straight hooks about getting married. Eventually, I was able to save money to get married, start our lives together.
Was there something that happened? Or parang ano yung shop? I mean, if you're happily spending your money and on yourself, making gastos, anong nangyari? Ba't ka napaisip bigla na parang, masyado ako nag-enjoy sa life, ah?
You just realize that you have to grow up. The biggest trigger point was when I lost my dad. Specifically, I will never forget you because you were DJing in 103.
105.9.
105.9. I was listening to you the day after my dad died. You made a shout out. This is for you, Chot, and I'm playing Hero by Foo Fighters. I will never forget that, Chris. Just because I was crying, listening to the radio on my bed. So every time I hear Foo Fighters, Hero, I remember you. I remember my dad. So I lost my dad due to a heart attack. What was this? Almost 10 years ago. So I was kind of forced into adulthood because yung man of the house nawala eh. That was a huge point of self-reflection because I had to make changes for myself, for my family. And I will not be able to achieve my goals if I continue my lifestyle of spending.
Was it an easy transition to make, switching from current lifestyle to shifting suddenly to bigger responsibilities?
Actually, it wasn't hard for me because I really had to do it. So those are the times in your life that you have to step up.
Do you wish you had started earlier? Do you wish that when you were younger? Yeah.
Yes.
As a young person, what would have been like useful points of study that's applicable that you feel, having your experiences would have been good to have on hand as you're growing up?
So ano ba, tips for the millennials?
You could call it that, or just important personal budgeting things that you have used that you wish you knew when you were younger.
Okay. Always find value in your purchases. But how do you quantify value? It's your sense of utility of that item. Ano yung value niya sa'yo? Ano yung sense of utility niya sa'yo? So, if you want to put it mathematically, it's your cost per wear of the item.
But even someone who seems financially savvy like Chot makes mistakes. And he made a really expensive one a few years ago, involving something that a lot of people have made mistakes with: his credit card.
When I was in my early 20s, saya ko eh. I was able to get a credit card with a 25,000 peso credit limit. I remember, shitty bank pa yun.
What did you say?
Shitty bank.
Shitty ba?
Shitty bank. So, tuwan-tuwa ako, di ba? Kala mo, free money. You spend. Kasi swipe. Bili ako Nike na Prestos. Pagdating ng bill, hindi ko mabayaran.
Atay.
Yeah. So, and the glorious thing about these banks is that they charge you interest. That gets carried over and carried over and carried over. Diba? So, that's poor handling of a credit card. I'm not saying credit cards are bad. In fact, if you know how to use a credit card, it's a good way to manage your money and learn responsibility. But if you're rolling your credit card payments, that's going to dig you a really, really deep hole that you may not be able to get out of.
Do you remember how much your bill went up to? Yung that
75,000.
How much?
175,000.
Oh my Lord! How did you? Ang sakit for Prestos.
I mean, hindi ko na maalala kung ano yung binili ko nun. Pero, yeah, but it recurred. So, I was able to pay it off.
It must have been such a big burden off your shoulders.
Yeah, it was.
What's your spending like now? What do you spend on? How do you decide what to spend on? Meron ka bang how do you decide when to splurge? Or is there a wise way of splurging?
I always ask a question. If let's say, in my mind, I want something, I will not buy it instantly. Unless it's like 1,500, mga 500 pesos, 1,000. So, okay, pwede pa yan. Pero pag lumagpas na ako ng 2,000 pesos, yun yung limit ko eh. Pag lumagpas na ako 2,000 pesos, meron akong thought process. First question, do I really need it? Next, what value will I get from it? Again, that sense of utility. Lately, I have been shopping. Admittedly, I've been shopping. Why? Because medyo nag-fluctuate yung weight ko eh.
Okay. So, Mexi ka ngayon. Nax!
I just used the term fluctuate. Right? So, I have an axe to grind with Zara kasi.
Specifically?
Yeah. Because I used to weigh 227 pounds. XL lang Zara, hindi kasya sa akin. Fast forward 5 years. So now I'm 180 pounds.
Wow, congratulations, Chot. That's good.
Yeah, thanks.
And that's not easy to do.
It took time and a lot of fluctuating. So I'm just so I never entered Zara since hindi kasha. I never entered Zara talaga. Pasok ako Zara. Medium.
Did you buy it? Or were you like,
I bought.
No, I will never buy. No, you did.
I bought a shitload.
Congratulations.
So ako parang, okay, ano yung value na derive ko dun? Okay, I expanded my wardrobe, but I kind of rewarded myself for being able to lose that weight. Yun yung thought process ko na. It's not just buying the clothes. It's like a badge of honor. Okay, you achieved something by losing weight. And okay, reward yourself with a nice shirt, slim fit trousers.
Yes.
Just like Chot and Chieri, I've made money mistakes in the past, such as having zero savings or investments or any thought at all for the future, in fact. Today, though, as a wife and mother of two, I see and handle money very differently. Thanks in large part to the trust of my husband and also to his amazing Microsoft Excel skills. We have a laid out budget for every month that we can both access so we can stay on top of things. What's consistent for us is our 10% tithes for the church and 20% for our savings. We have several life insurance policies and small investments in different places, and we try our best to spend no more than a certain amount for every month for our luxuries and little wants. We also make sure that we set a limit for our credit card spending and we pay off the full amount every month without fail. I feel like that needs to be emphasized more. Pay your credit cards in full, on time, all the time. This is what works for us, for our family. It's by no means a perfect system, but it's a system that works for us right now. So you can find what fits your lifestyle and your budget and make that work for you. Spending and saving your own money, it's a dynamic process. And as we heard from both Chi and Chot, we all make financial mistakes. But it isn't an inescapable cycle. You don't need to wait for a big payout or lump sum to begin saving for yourself and start investing in your future. Start small, have a goal, be consistent, and commit to yourself. Build on that, and you'll be surprised to see that one day your little hill is now a mountain. This has been You're Just Okay, and that's okay. Thanks so much for listening in, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll be talking to you again soon. Bye-bye!